Every night, at some point, you lose consciousness. Your eyes close, your muscles go slack, your sense of self, your awareness of being you in a body in a room temporarily dissolves. And for years, science essentially treated this as the brain off, a rest state, maintenance mode, the boring hours. We now know the picture is almost completely backwards. The sleeping brain is not quiet. It is not resting in any simple sense. It is running some of the most complex, critical, and frankly astonishing processes it ever runs. Memory is being sorted and stored. Toxins are being flushed out. Emotional experiences are being processed and filed. Skills you practiced yesterday are being consolidated into long-term ability overnight. Sleep is not the absence of brain activity. It is a different kind of brain activity, purposeful, structured, and absolutely non-negotiable for every system in your body. Here is something most people don't know. Sleep is not one continuous state. It is a sequence of distinct stages that your brain cycles through repeatedly across the night. The cycle runs roughly every 90 minutes. This figure is well established in sleep research, though I'd note individual variation exists, so treat it as approximate. Each cycle contains two broad categories of sleep. Non-REM sleep, which itself has three substages moving from light sleep into increasingly deep sleep. The deepest stage, called slow wave sleep or N3, is most physically restorative. This is when growth hormone is released, tissue repair happens, and the immune system does significant work. They are well documented. REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep. This is the stage most associated with vivid dreaming. Your eyes move beneath your eyelids. Your brain activity measured on an EEG looks surprisingly similar to waking state. And your body is temporarily paralyzed, a mechanism that, as best we understand it, prevents you from physically acting out your dreams. Here's the crucial detail about the architecture. The proportion of these stages shift across the night. Early cycles are heavier in deep slow wave sleep. Later cycles in the hours before you wake are heavier in REM. This means the sleep you cut short when you set an early alarm is disproportionately REM heavy sleep. You're not just sleeping less, you're cutting a specific type of sleep. Let's go deeper into slow wave sleep first, because this is where the body is doing its most intensive physical work. During deep sleep, the brain shifts into large, synchronized waves of electrical activity called delta waves. The brain is not chaotic, it is rhythmic, almost orchestral. Several critical things happen here, such as memory consolidation, declarative memories, the things you consciously learn today, facts, events, information are all being transferred from short-term holding in the hippocampus into longer-term storage in the cortex. The hippocampus is essentially uploading to the hard drive. The process requires sleep. There is no known workaround. Physical restoration. Growth hormone, secreted primarily during sleep or deep sleep and is well established endocrinology. It drives cellular repair throughout the body, muscle repair, tissue maintenance. This one reason sleep deprivation impairs physical recovery in athletes, with robust evidence behind that claim. Immune function. The relationship between sleep and immune function is well documented. Cytokines, proteins that are involved in immune response, are produced and released during sleep. Consistently disrupted sleep is associated with increased susceptibility to illness. I'd flag the precise mechanisms are still being worked out in research, but the association itself is solid. And then something discovered more recently that genuinely astonished the scientific community, and I'll list it separately. In 2013, a research team led by Mike Nedegard at the University of Rochester published a paper in the journal Science that genuinely shifted how neuroscience thinks about sleep. I'm citing this carefully because it is a real study and the finding is significant. They discovered primarily in mice, which I want to flag because the direct human translation is still being studied, that the brain has its own waste clearance system. They called it glymphatic system. Here's how it works. During sleep, particularly deep sleep, the spaces between the brain cells appear to expand. Cerebrospinal fluid flows more actively through these expanded spaces, effectively flushing metabolic waste products out of the brain tissue. One of the waste products being cleared is amyloid beta, a protein that when it accumulates abnormally is associated with Alzheimer's disease. I want to be precise here, the research on whether poor sleep causes Alzheimer's risk is ongoing, and I won't overstate it. What the research clearly shows is an association between disrupted sleep and amyloid accumulation. The causal direction and clinical significance are still being studied. But the concept is striking. Your brain has a cleaning cycle. It runs primarily during sleep. If you chronically cut sleep short, the cleaning cycle runs too short too. This is preliminary enough that I want you to hold it with appropriate uncertainty, but it is real published science from a credible team, and it is one of the most compelling discoveries in recent sleep research. Now the other half of the night, REM sleep. If deep sleep is body's maintenance crew, REM is brain's therapist and creative director. Two things REM sleep appears to do, supported by credible research I'm comfortable citing. First, emotional memory processing. Matthew Walker, a sleep researcher at UC Berkeley and author of a book called Why We Sleep, has written and spoken extensively about this. His core claim, which is supported by research his lab and others have conducted, is that REM sleep helps process emotionally charged memories. The idea, simplified, is that during REM, the brain replays emotional experiences, but in a neurochemical environment with reduced norepinephrine, a stress-related chemical. This lower stress replay may allow the brain to process the emotional weight of an experience without re-triggering the full stress response. This is sometimes described as REM sleep takes the emotion out of the memory. The memory remains, the raw pain of it diminishes. I want to flag that Walker's broader work has received some scientific criticism regarding overstatement in certain areas, so I present this specific mechanism as well supported but not unanimously settled. The general principle of REM and emotional processing has broad support. Some specific details are still being refined. Second, creative and associative thinking. REM sleep is when the brain makes connections between distantly related pieces of information. Ideas that don't talk to each other during waking hours get introduced during REM. This is the likely biological basis of the phenomenon where you sleep on a problem and wake up with a solution. It is not mystical. It is REM doing what REM does. I want to spend a moment here being direct, because the culture of wearing sleep deprivation as a badge of productivity deserves a direct response from the biology. The evidence on sleep deprivation is among the most consistent in all of behavioral neuroscience. I'm confident in what follows. After 17 to 19 hours without sleep, this is approximate, cognitive performance degrades to a level comparable to legal intoxication. This is a well-replicated finding. The cruel twist is this: sleep-deprived people are poor judges of how impaired they are. The more sleep-deprived you become, the more normal you feel you're functioning. The impairment includes impairment of your ability to detect your own impairment and staying well within established associations. On the chronic side, consistent short sleep is associated in epidemiological literature with elevated risk of cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, obesity, depression, and impaired immune function. The mechanisms I have described in this video, the lymphatic cleaning, the memory consolidation, the emotional processing, the physical restoration, none of them complete properly when sleep is cut short. You cannot catch up on sleep in a meaningful biological sense. This is a real finding. I'm guessing here on some of the finer mechanistic details of why catch-up sleep doesn't fully compensate. That's still being studied, but the finding itself that catch-up doesn't restore full function is solid. Every night when you close your eyes, your brain begins filing the day's memories into right folders. Your body releases the hormones it needs to repair itself. Your immune system catches up on its work. And somewhere in the small hours, in the long amber stretches of REM, your brain quietly takes the sharpest edges of the hardest moments. Make connections you couldn't make while awake, prepares you without being asked to face tomorrow with more capacity than you ended today with. Sleep is not lost time. It is not laziness dressed up in darkness. It is the most sophisticated biological maintenance process your body runs, and it asks almost nothing of you. Just that you show up for it consistently, adequately, every night. The brain will do the rest. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hit like, subscribe, and stay close. This channel is built for people who are done settling and ready to actually live.